thing.
Welcome to another episode of Remembering Me, a soul healing podcast. I'm Candace Love.
I'm your boy Docs, aka Brick City Buddha, and we have, as y'all can
Who
see,
we got?
very special guests in the building. Let them know who you are, beloved.
EAZY the Block Captain.
Put your mic up, yeah.
Okay, EAZY the Block Captain.
Yes.
Philadelphia.
Yes.
Best battle rapper in the world.
Himothy.
The EAZY the Block Captain.
You know what I mean? How y'all doing today?
Right.
First of all, I want to start this podcast off by saying thank you for being here.
Right.
Absolutely.
You have no idea how exciting this is for me.
Thank you.
Being my fave. Okay. And then the way that all of this came about.
Right.
One thing about me is I'm very clear on how much integrity means to me. And everything in our conversation since we started the conversation to get to this space has been you displaying nothing but integrity.
Right.
And it's so rare that you get to meet someone who actually stands up to the idea that you have of them.
Surpasses,
Yeah. Right? And
That's
so
fire.
for you to have
Appreciate that.
all of those qualities, everything that you text back, professional, and even being willing to come here and do this, to fly to Houston and do the podcast when you have one of the biggest battles coming up next week is so huge, and we are so honored, and we're just really grateful that you would even think to come and be a part of this with us.
Absolutely. I'm big on vibes though.
Facts.
You know what I mean? Energy. Not like how y'all got it.
Right.
I mean, y'all a little extreme. Yeah, right. But you know, being the way I grew up, you start trusting people or start feeling people by how they move,
Right.
how they talk, and you know what I mean. And I don't know what led me to like click to your pick, because I think you was like. Hey, like, yeah, you gonna win.
Absolutely.
I was like,
That'll
yeah.
do it.
I'm like, yeah. Like,
And this what you said. You was like 14 days of the wake up, and I'm like, 14 days of the wake up.
It was like, it was like, and then I seen the page, and I was like, hold on, this pot. I'm like, thought you was a catfish page.
Right, no doubt.
Yeah, at first.
I did too at first.
Yeah, I'm just like, there's too much positivity.
Right.
To listen to what I be talking
No
about.
doubt.
You know what I mean? Like
No
that. And then, you know, we had the exchange, and then, so it was like, okay. It fits in. I was telling your husband, it fits into like certain things I'm trying to do with the journey I got, you know, for battle rap and talking to kids about, you know, life and going on.
Absolutely.
And that's dope, because from my perspective, like I told you on the way over here, I've been watching you for a large part of your career before you got like super popping as EAZY, and to know that certain business comes up where I handle, certain business comes up and my wife handles, and y'all kind of initiated the communication. So as a man, you still got kind of be on your square, like, all right,
absolutely.
is this brother really on what he say he on? And at no point did my intuition, did my energy feel like I needed to step in or take over the conversation. The first time we talked after all of this, the past 3-4 days, like, all right, what you want to eat? You talking about I want some muscles, right? I mean, we just start vibing from there. So it's beautiful to know, even in the arena of battle rap, as aggressive as it is, as warlike as it is, you can still, in general, as a human being, you can still maintain a certain level of honor, which I know you talk a lot about, and integrity, and no matter what arena you in. So as a man, I'm going to tell you on here in front of the camera, thank you for being honorable to my wife and with this situation.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, no doubt.
Appreciate that.
No doubt.
Appreciate that.
So this is really, the other thing that I don't know if you know this, but you're our first guest ever.
Right.
I think I was checking y'all out.
Right. Okay. He did his research.
I was checking y'all out. I gotta make sure you're like crazy.
Of course.
Crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like that. I kind of go back into, you know, just go back to what you said. Like when a lot of people is unhonorable, right? So, but even, you know, me going through your wife's page, I see you.
Right.
You dig what I'm saying? Like that. So, you know what I mean? Like it's, and your wife made it 100% clear.
Yeah, no doubt.
Too. Like, you dig what I'm saying? Like that. But a lot of females don't do that.
Right, absolutely.
You dig what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like, that's a thing now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When a girl or a man have somebody, they don't make it clear.
Right.
You can flirt with them, yo, you beautiful. They'll say something
No doubt.
instead of being like, yo, I got a husband, I got a man. I used to like, I'm big on that.
Right.
Shut that shit down.
Right.
Ish down from the beginning.
Right, absolutely.
So you, the other person can't even be on it, and then if he is on it, then you know what type of time.
You know what time it
Yeah,
is.
that's so true.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
what
Right.
was interesting is, you know, because as much as we watch Battle Rap, we watch you and we admire what you do, we still don't know who the person is.
Right.
And so in our interaction, one of the things I just said, you know, my husband. As a woman, I know that even that phrase is enough to see if the conversation should continue or if it's going to end. Right? So I'm like, no, this is super professional.
Right.
And I really appreciated that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we just got to kind of lay the groundwork a little bit because y'all know we talk about everything on this podcast. It's the Soul Healing Podcast for a reason, but you could still be in a spiritual part of your being and still be a regular person at the same time. And y'all know we talk a lot about relationships. So just to give a little bit of the backstory of how we even get here, a lot of couples, when they start to get together, they either will go full throttle and trying to share what they like and what's interesting, or they don't do it at all. A lot of times the man will be on the couch all football Sunday. The wife will cook, but she's not coming in there to watch the game with you. Mm-hmm. She's not coming to ask no questions, and vice versa. Hello, Real Housewives shows and all of that. The man ain't checking up on none of that type of stuff. So we have like these separate compartments a lot of times in our relationships that we don't at least give a chance to see if we could resonate with it. That's never kind of been the case with my wife and I. I've been a battle rap fan. I'm an artist as well. So battle rap always been a part of my entertainment. I don't watch TV and stuff like that. I got basketball. I got battle rap. Okay. So when I got with her, we would talk about so many different things, being that we're not so focused on just sex and the physical aspect of things. I wanted to know who she is and vice versa. I would start to include her in some of the things I found interesting in battle rap. She's like, oh, I remember Tech 9. That was my favorite. God rest her dead, right? I remember Tech 9. That opened up a whole door like, all right, would you be willing to watch an event? She's like, yeah, I'll be with it. And she hadn't watched it in 10 years. You know, battle rap has evolved.
So what was the first event?
What was the first event?
Oh, that's a good question. Dang. I think one of the first people that I watched was it Clean?
Yeah, because it wasn't events at first. Caffeine was just starting, so I was showing her old battles.
Okay.
So the first battle.
So what's the first event y'all watched together?
I don't even remember the first event.
Oh,
so what you said was a Caffeine era.
Yeah.
I think it was like a tournament.
Ultimate Madness. Was that one I'm in? Or
I think so.
Yeah.
Yep. That's it.
Yeah.
And that's when she started to fall in love with you as an artist.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, with that being said, she started to watch old battles with me, and then I was able to start to explain to her not just the talent of what y'all do lyrically, but the psychology of battle rap.
Yeah.
Because she real big into Survivor.
Yeah.
I ain't never cared nothing about nobody Survivor. But being that she was open to watch battle rap, I'm like, all right, I check Survivor out. And it's kind of the same thing in a completely different field. It ain't just the missions and the challenges they do, it's the psychology of it. And that's kind of where we both function. So for us to be in a space where I've been teaching her battle rap for the past year and a half, she locks in on you, and Calico as her favorites, but you still her favorite.
Okay.
Shout out to Cal. We love you, Cal, right?
Shout out to Kyle.
For us to just go from our bedroom, watching these battles, watching these events, having these talks, having fun with battle rap, and being in a space where we know what you think eventually makes its way into your reality.
That's fine.
We ain't have to call up Easy like, yo, can you do this show?
Yeah.
You saw a comment that you ain't have to see, right? Y'all sparked the conversation, and before you know it, within 3 to 4 days, you are in our house.
That's crazy.
That's
man.
crazy.
That's fire.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's why we're here. That's why we're here.
That's it's mind blowing. Yeah. That's like the Beyonce of battle rap being in your house.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
Right, and you have a beautiful house. So
appreciate you.
Thank you. Yeah.
All right. So without further ado, let's get into our topic for today. Thank you guys. You've been rocking out with us for 6 episodes. This number 6.
This number 6.
Y'all made us top 50 in the country for mental health. I know you are deep into that. We'll talk about that at a certain point. But we kind of racked our brain about what topic to make this all inclusive, because we do have different worlds, but we do share a lot of similarities.
Right.
So I feel like the greatest thing we have in common between these 3 people right here is how we have repurposed pain.
Okay.
The relationships that we have made with pain, what we've learned from pain, what we have kind of turned pain into, and a lot of what you bring to the table as a battle rapper, as an MC, it's that pain.
Right.
Yeah.
And for you to go from a point where you're not really leaning on it no more, you package it in a way, like I was saying, even when you stand in front of an opponent, I get from you that you're not really even just battling that opponent.
Facts.
You are battling the old version of your life that had you effed up out here.
Right.
That you ain't have no power to control at that point, but now you easy to block and you could talk your talk and get at those versions of your life that you couldn't do nothing about before.
Right.
So before we even dig deep into the topic, what is pain to you? What is your current relationship with pain?
That's a good question of the definition of what pain is. That's actually crazy, because that could be a bar too.
Yeah, facts, right?
And thinking about, but it's I would say off top, I would say pain is experiences and stories that built me to be something else. You know what I mean? Because every time that I felt that might be like the least feeling you want to feel,
Right.
Yeah.
but you grow from that, like every time.
Absolutely.
Like regardless of what type of pain it is, relationship pain, even if it's like you working out and your muscles pain is breaking, is building, so you're growing from it. Like regardless whatever pain. So, I label it like as stories. That's like a continuing story.
Beautiful.
I love that.
What's yours, baby? What's your definition?
Oh, my definition of pain. I would pretty much say the same thing in regards to how the uncomfortability, the intentional dying. And that's what it feels like when there is pain present, because you can't do anything but die to it.
Absolutely.
You can't do anything but allow it to be present, to surrender to it. And so I feel as if pain is any uncomfortable memory, thought, emotion, projection that I just have to give myself permission to surrender to, and really to let it overcome me so it can do its job and get the hell on.
Facts.
But giving myself permission to not run from that emotion, that feeling.
Right. And then I would say my definition is, I guess pain is like the soil of evolution.
Absolutely.
And a lot of times I talk, we both are counselors too.
I like that too.
Appreciate you. It's a bar. We are counselors, and a lot of times when I work with my clients, the first thing we kind of get into is why we here, right? And when they dig into their life, they give their sob story. No disrespect to nobody's story, but we all got a sob story.
Right.
And when they lay it out, one of the first things I do is say, congratulations, and I clap. They're like, bro, I just paid you $150. Why you clapping at my sadness? But now being on the other end, and I still experience pain, but being on the other end of understanding what its purpose is, I tell people that rock bottom is the foundation for you to build the next version of yourself, and that kind of correlates to what you were saying. So with that being said, what do you feel like your rock bottom moment was?
I think I had different stages of life where rock bottom took place at. I don't think it's not a one time thing to actually touch rock bottom. As a juvenile, I touched rock bottom when I ain't had no parents. Adult, I think I touched rock bottom when I was like sleeping in my car. You dig what I'm saying? Going back to jail. Maybe the last time I went back to jail, I knew the second time, so I'll tell you the story. Like, so the second time, then my sister, she calls me. She says, this is when I changed. This is when I changed. Like, as far as I listened to people that was, as you say, like the spirit y'all have, it's a certain feeling that y'all get, or I didn't believe none of that.
Got you.
So my sister one day, she called me, she said, stay out the dark. I said, what you talking about, sis? She was like, she's like, just stay out the dark. I'm like, all right. And so, I'm doing me, we're running around. I listened, kind of in the house, somebody called me, they like, yo, we need you to come around the corner. I'm like, no, I can't come out there. I'm just like that, because I'm listening. But it's my first time, like, taking something like that and listening. So I'm just like, in my head, I'm like, hey, you tripping? Like, I go, I get locked up. The whole time I'm in the backseat, I'm just like,
it's the same day.
The same day. I'm just like, yo, I knew it. I should have just like stayed. You dig what I'm saying? Like, and like that was a rock bottom for me. Because it's like I didn't have to do that.
Right.
You dig what I'm saying? And even in battle rap, I felt like I had a rock bottom there too when I was on my come up finally in 2013, 14, when I actually felt like I found music to become something.
Right.
And then go to jail.
Right.
I'm just like, I can never get it.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I can't. So it's like different stages of my life that I feel like I had a rock bottom. So I feel like 4 or 5 years ago, I just had one.
Yeah.
I'm starting over from there.
Did they, you said your sister, right?
Yeah.
And I know you talked a lot about in your audio book. Shout out your audio book real quick.
It's Himothy Chapter 1 is connected to the album. So it's a blue version is the audio book and the red version is the actual album. But every song has a definition of why and a lesson per song.
Beautiful.
Which is a fire idea. I never really heard nobody do it like
Right,
that.
right.
But you did mention at a certain point, you said you grew up with your father till about 8.
Yes.
But for the most part, not to cut you off, for the most part, you kind of stood on the shoulders of a lot of women. You had a
Yeah.
lot of beautiful figures in your life that was female.
Right.
So the day she told you stay out the dark, and was it nighttime when you got called?
No,
out?
that was nighttime. Yeah.
So it was an entendre low key, right? How long did you do? How long was that bid?
That was
from
the
moment?
juvenile.
That
So
was
I
the
was
juvie.
18.
Okay.
I didn't come back home till I was 18.
Wow.
So it was over. Yeah.
Okay.
It was over. It was over from that on. You know what I mean? But that one thing. So I always think about that. So that's 16. I'm 34. That story is like seared in my brain because I'm just like I should have just listened.
Right. Right.
You know
wow.
what I mean? Like
Okay.
that. Like so it'd be like, and then you write a lot of women. My sister was older. You know what I mean? My dad's girlfriend when I was growing up, I thought that was like my real mom.
Okay.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? Like that. So I was raised with them for the first 8 years of my life, 9 years of my life.
Gotcha.
Then when I found out that wasn't my real mom, I met my real mom. Then my dad moved on and got married. So I was like, he been married 20-something years. So I have another mom. Technically.
Wow.
You dig what I'm
Wow.
saying?
Yeah.
Like, so you know what I mean? So it's like women, my grandma,
Right.
you know what I mean? And all of that. So that's, you know what I mean? That's who I was like raised with. All my lessons came from them.
Got you.
So when it came to those rock bottom moments where pain was present and probably even feeling like the self-betrayal of knowing like, why did I put myself in this situation? How did you repurpose that? How did you evolve from that? How did you deal with all of those emotions that surface in those rock bottom moments?
I think a lot of times I think we mess up because we think that we can't, like we need like that one time after we feel that pain, that next time we have to get out of that. And I mean, I think that sometimes we need about 3-4 of those.
Facts.
Shoot, listen,
Facts.
You know what I'm
a
saying?
lot of
Like,
people need hard lessons,
Yeah.
and I
Right.
was one of them people.
Right.
And so I think the first time I outsmarted the pain, or I thought I did. You know what? Let's just chalk this up to, you know what I mean? It was a mistake.
Right.
Go back out there and we do the same thing until it happened again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that. So I guess a pattern, a cycle of pain. You need that. You know what I mean? Because I didn't repurpose it till I'm not gonna lie, like 27,
Yeah.
And you're 34 right
34.
now. So from the time where your sister planted the seed,
Right.
stay out the dark, we talking a decade plus before it
Came
actually
home,
sprouted.
Still sold drugs.
Yeah.
Went back to jail. You know what I mean? Had a girlfriend, cheated on her. It's like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Okay, got caught cheating. Still did it because I'm thinking I can maybe
Right.
don't cheat this way. Cheat that way. You dig what I'm saying? Like that, yeah.
Right.
So it's you know, until we know what's right and wrong,
Right.
it's going to continue to happen.
Yeah.
And then you have to still be, as men, they say, we get mature a little later. That could be
Yeah.
possible
Right.
because I didn't start seeing like purpose in my life. Like, okay, bro, we're 27.
Right.
If you go back to jail again, you know that's going to be
Yeah.
more than
It's a
about
wrap.
3, 4, 5
Yeah,
years.
yeah,
You
no
dig what I'm
doubt,
saying?
no
Like
doubt.
that, you can't afford that
Right.
no more. So that's out of that. You do that, your kids is gonna be grown, so you're not gonna be in your kids' life. So what was the point of having them?
Right.
Right.
You dig what I'm saying?
Right.
So it was just like, okay, this is the time, and I just felt like if I went left, it was over. I'm not here now.
Right.
I'm not even sitting in the seat.
Wow. Okay. So with that being said, and one of your catchphrases, I can't say the N-word part of it,
Right.
but time to make these payments.
Right.
Right. And to a large degree, we all got a similar perspective that each time you accrue a certain level of pain, you kind of putting into that evolutionary bank account. So you still need a funnel system though while you downloading that pain because it will rip you apart in different ways. So when you started to develop your talent, how did writing start to play a part in you having a funnel for having that pain have somewhere to go?
Yeah.
Because now it's about, once I figured out it's profitable.
Got you. Did you initially start writing with that in mind? Or?
No. So I was just, that was something me and my brothers did because we was just home.
Got you.
Yeah, I mean, we couldn't go outside, might be on punishment or something.
Right.
We'll start writing. You know what I mean? Like that.
What was y'all write?
You know what I mean? I think our first song was to the.
Oh, you remember?
Our first song was to the Bad Boy song.
Okay.
Bad Boy. That was my first. I wrote a first joint of that, and we used to write over the top of the music.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like for no like instrumentals and do that and another story. My first song I really recorded. I let my dad listen to me. He told me it was trash.
It's trash. Yeah.
And what did that?
That's on my page. You like what? Damn, like that would have crushed somebody.
Right.
Though.
Right.
That's what I was about to say. What did that do when
It
you?
was just, I was like,
Yeah.
like, cause it already took me guts to bring this.
Absolutely, right.
You know what I mean? You mean like you don't really like it, but it was just like I just knew I had something, but you just gotta go through more experiences. So now, when I write now, it's about lessons now. You know what I mean?
Right.
More of a okay, let's take it, let's package it. We smart now. You
Right.
know what I mean? We read. We gotta package it into
Right.
a way that we can, not glorify it, but. Do that. It's like therapy. Like me writing the rounds to somebody. I mean, like me writing the rounds to somebody. I might learn something about me writing around about them.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like, they could say this to me.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, but I'm gonna say this to them though. You know what I mean? Like, they can say this to me though. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it be, that, and it's just, I leave it on the paper, and I don't gotta, and it's done, and I feel like I achieved something.
One thing with childhood trauma, when a person is triggered of any kind, they revert back to the moment that they experienced the trauma. So, for instance, when you finally built up the courage to go and show your dad or recite, what you just wrote to your dad, and then he says something like, it's trash, how that emotion gets instilled in the body and the memory and the mind.
Right.
At any point, was that voice still in your mind that you had to work through in your process of evolving in your writing?
I mean, honestly, I was already mad at my dad at that time.
Got you.
Yeah, I mean, because I felt like I should have been with him. You know what I mean? From 0 to 18.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that. And even at 34, I still think like, my life could have been different.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
that. So it'd be like, all right, so I finally got over that as an adult.
Yeah.
So it was just like, because my mom was a fan of mine. So I could
from
bring
Rick.
some corny stuff to her. She's going to play it.
Yeah.
Right.
You dig what I'm saying?
Right.
But I knew that. I said, this is when I know I'm going to be good. When I know he like it.
Got you. And you had to balance with him not, and then your mother still
Right.
supporting. And you brought up a dope point. This is a freebie too for y'all. One of the techniques I give to some of my clients too, that are having issues connecting to their subconscious, because that's kind of what you do in the world of being an artist,
Right.
especially a battle rapper. I don't know if you're familiar with the term shadow work.
No, explain it.
So in spirituality, everybody is light and positivity and all this extra stuff, which of course is a beautiful part of it. But a lot of the healing process, you got to dig into those dark spots in your memory bank, in your soul, in your spirit that you may not necessarily want to even admit to yourself is actually there. You got people that do ayahuasca and go on trips to tap into that shadow aspect of themselves.
So that's the part of you that may feel abandoned,
Right.
neglected,
Right.
or unworthy.
So you kind of do that, your version of a battle rapper, because not all battle rappers, of course, do that.
Right.
You do that in a way where you're actually doing public shadow work, talking about these experiences.
Okay.
And when you kind of wrote down that you finding out new, pretty much angles about yourself. If y'all not familiar with battle rap, a huge part of the sport is not just being lyrical, but if you're going to attack your opponent, you got to have certain angles based on their personality to make them look less than in some way, shape, or form. Right. So I encourage people to, of course, journal, to, of course, have a diary, to, of course, write. But there's something that I give to my clients called unconscious writing. This may be something you want to do as a writer, too. You get a piece of paper out. You get a pen. Give yourself a certain amount of time. It's going to be uncomfortable your first time doing it, so at least 1 minute. And when you hit the timer, just start letting your pen move. Don't stop don't pause, don't think, don't try to come up with a bar or what the next word is. Just allow your hand to keep writing, to keep moving. You're still creating words, but don't worry about sequence. At the end of it, almost every time I do this technique with people, we look for the siphon, right? The sequence of what words we're repeating, what themes kept coming up. And by doing these types of things, you start to find the angles within your own self, because we got multiple versions of ourselves battling in our head. These inner voices that we can't get to stop talking, they going at it. So for you to be able to identify which one is which one has certain characteristics and certain traits, you got to first find an angle. And I think that's a dope perspective of you learning more about yourself and even attacking your opponent. We could take that into our day-to-day lives without being battle rappers. That's super dope.
Yeah, I agree. I can't remember who you were actually battling, but you were speaking about your story to the degree it literally made my eyes water. Right. And so this is the aspects of your being that really solidified you being my favorite. The way that you tell your story with passion, the way that it's also a teachable moment. Right. And so how do you feel in regards to the fact that your story is a teachable moment as well as it's enough to make you people's favorite?
Right.
Well, once I noticed that, I think that's my goal, especially when I'm around 3. When I get to it's a lesson in every bar. I do that on purpose, because it's like, okay, a lot of rappers we look up to, let's just say they not really, the story ain't real. You know what I mean? Like, they're really frauding about what they, is. So it's like when you get like an authentic person who really been in the streets and been in foster care and lived with my mom and lived with my other mom. You know what I'm saying? Like, now you get to tell, okay, listen, this is what really happened and this is how you can look at it, though.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because, I might could put it in bars, but if I never been through it, you can't feel it.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? You can't feel it. But now, since I've been through it, I can tell you how to get out of it, though. Like, for real.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that. So I try to do a little bit, per battle, so they could just know, like, you know what I mean, that I'm really in certain details.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you could read a book or you can watch a movie and you can write it, but it's certain details that you have to live it.
5 pounds on the front wrist.
Right.
Like, you can't just,
like,
you
can't that's how people be knowing. They be like, oh, he really did that.
No doubt.
You know what I mean? Like that. So it's just like, I'll be trying to find those, like, what is unique about this that I know you would know for sure. Like, he been through that.
Yeah.
And I do that.
No, I love that.
And I always wanted to ask a battle rapper, but especially somebody like you. First question is it still therapy for you, being that it's so much a part of your livelihood? This is business for you now. Is it still therapy?
Yeah, it's still therapy for me.
Which aspect, if any, would you say is more therapeutic? The actually getting it out or the actual performing?
That's a good question. I would say getting it out. Okay, so basically, because I battled Big T last time, right? That's my last battle. So I can tell you a million times in my audio book, such and such, I'm from Philly, I'm from this part, I'm from this part. But until I performed it like that, that's when they got it.
Right.
Like, oh, you dig what I'm saying? Like, I can tell you. So it has to be. I think the performing part is what can, because you can hear it. You can tell if a person not it. Right. You can tell if a person ain't it.
Whatever we could afford to be. That's
right. You know what I mean? Like that. And I think that line was like, okay. Even in my comments, it was like, yo, that's all we wanted you to say.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that. Like, I did say that like several times, but that's how they accepted it.
Right.
So I think the performing part is more therapeutic for other people as well.
And the reason I asked you that is because, again, with the sessions, a lot of times clients will talk about, well, I didn't tell this particular person this because I knew they wasn't going to really hear me. I knew it wasn't going to have no particular effect. And a lot of times when you start to develop your approach to healing, you realize the truth that you need to share with somebody else who may be doing some BS, it ain't even really about them getting it. It's about you just getting it out of your system.
Right.
Because we're talking about emotion, energy and motion. If you don't give the energy a channel to actually get out of your system, it can't actually get processed. You can't get your downloads. You can't learn your angles about yourself. And you can't have a blueprint to go forward. So a lot of times people are like, I ain't going to tell them that. Sometimes just write it in the letter, send it to them. Don't worry about it if they even read it. At least you got some of that out, and your answer correlates to my thoughts on that.
Yeah, I love that. And so when you are in your space of performing, that's a lot of energy.
Right.
It's a lot of energy. And so what are you feeling in your body? One of the things that we teach people in our sessions with healing is a lot of the emotions that they feel is stored in the body. Anger is stored in the liver. Grief is stored in the lungs. And then when there are situations where you have to, say for instance, be creative, because you are constantly in your creativeness.
Right.
And so when you have to be creative, that's an energy you have to consume. And then when you are no longer being creative, where does that energy go? How do you transmute it? So when you're performing on stage, when you're writing, how do you experience that in your body, in your life, and then how do you transition out of that back into normalcy?
Great question.
I think I'm probably like one of the cheat codes because my life is this.
Got you.
You know what I mean? Like, so when
Got you.
I never turn it off.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's always it. That's why I can snap like right back to it. I could go do the freestyle and it'll
Right.
still sound the same. The lesson, the messages are still the same. I'm just giving it to you in like a different, part of it. Now I think when you like acting, I think you gotta turn it on and off.
Got you.
You know what I mean? Like that. I go on stage, I know what I want to happen. To me, I feel like everything's already written. I think everything's done. Everything's written already. So the battle, I already know what's supposed to happen for the battle.
Do you do visualizations?
As far as what you
So
mean?
like, have you ever seen on the movies, you'll see it with athletes. There was a movie called, what's my favorite movie? The samurai movie.
The Last Samurai?
Yeah, The Last Samurai. I love samurai.
That's the samurai movie.
So there's a technique that people do it's just visualizations, which
Okay.
means you see it, you visualize it before it happens.
Well, then that's what I do.
Yeah. And so when you on the stage, does it feel like almost like deja vu because you've already spent time in that moment?
I be at the interviews after.
Wow.
Like I thought about that like 2 days ago. I'm already at the interview of what I'm gonna say. Like after the win.
yeah.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yep.
Like that. Like I go like that way. Like
That's
you know what I mean?
powerful.
Like I overthink. So people be like telling me like, yo, you be overthinking too much, and I just be like, I try to for not thinking. And I think if you go all the way back from my sister telling me to not do something, I think that's what made me like. Maybe I should start looking at every situation about 4 times. The good, the bad, the worst of what can happen now. You know what I mean? Instead of just doing something. So now, that's what I do. Even coming here, I got to look at your page.
Yeah.
Try
No
to
doubt.
find your page.
No
You know
doubt.
what I mean? I got to go on the YouTube. I got to hear what y'all talking about. I
Yeah.
got to go see. You dig what I'm saying?
Right.
Like that. Like it's just,
Intentionality.
right. It has to be that. You know what I mean? Like that.
And that's kind of like where intuition has an ability to show up. Intuition more so like the feminine component of everybody. Everybody has it. It just may not be developed. The masculine aspect is the logic. The 1 + 1 = 2. So for you to do that preparation, that actually is a technique I give people too. I was working with this brother who was just, getting it in too much, and he was trying to get himself under control. And I would ask him like, all right, well, how you feel after you bust something down that you really didn't want no part of? You just had to fulfill that addiction. How do you feel after? Like, I feel terrible. So I was like, start to get into what I called in that moment sex extrapolation. When the desire first rises up, give yourself 2 to 3 minutes to visualize that happening, her coming through, y'all do whatever you do, and go to the moment after the nut is bust. Sit in how you're going to feel after it and let that start to download in your system. It's interesting that you talk about doing that both ways now, not just with the negative, but even with the positive, using that thought for what it was is necessary for, but then allowing the intuition to take over. Because I'm sure how you rehearse, how you practice, when you get on that stage, that energy takes on a life of its own. And
It's
certain things
different.
happen you ain't anticipating.
I'll be ready to pass out up there.
Wow.
Like I'm to my last drop of energy. That's what I tell you. I'll leave it up there. Like to me, this is like the last of the last, because I look at it like if I lose this, I might can't get like another battle. I know that's not true.
Yeah,
sure, right.
yeah, no
but
doubt.
I just be like,
Right.
That's
Life
your
or
that's
death.
my,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like that.
Right.
It could be over after this.
For sure.
He might kill you to the point you can't get another
Right,
battle. So
right.
we have to leave it.
Yeah.
All right here.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that. And that's what I do every battle. Even if the performances don't look the same, there's different circumstances
For sure.
with it, but that's what I do.
Being that you give so much of your life on that stage and in your material, does it even feel like you performing?
Not really.
What does
And that's
it
what I get
feel
from you. Like I never feel like I'm watching you perform and feel like you
'Cause
just
it
talking to
feel
somebody on the
easy.
block, like, you know what I mean?
For real, feel
facts.
easy.
I think I represent like the average person. I go there. I used like even before events. You know how like I'm at the stage where I'm supposed to like not come main event, come later. I go
You be in the
early.
building,
I go
yeah.
early, set up my merch, shake hands,
Right.
take pictures. Oh, what's
Right.
up? Yeah, yo, you cool and shit. Like, no, I'm just regular.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right,
I be
no
like,
doubt.
I'm and then I go practice and then come back
Yeah.
and then you meet and then I feel like them
Right.
because I am y'all.
Right.
You know what I'm
right.
saying?
I
Like
love
that.
that.
You know what I mean? So, and then when I'm having a conversation with my opponent, it's like I'm talking to y'all too.
Right. That's what I get.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But y'all want to have this conversation
Right.
with him too.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like we're both having this conversation.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's what you're
Yeah.
right. That's what we want. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
So it's like I take what
doubt.
y'all want to say and we gonna talk to them.
Community talk.
Right.
Baby-
One of the
go
things
ahead.
we were speaking about before we even started the podcast was your preparation. And you mentioned a lot about stillness and silence.
Facts.
And one of the things in regards to healing that most people really do not want to prioritize, and to some degree they can't. They haven't tapped into themselves enough to where they know how to value stillness. They don't know how to value silence, and they also don't know that the things that they want so bad, the blessings they want, the ideas they want, the creativity they want, is in the midst of stillness and silence. So can you talk to us about what stillness and silence feels like for you and what happens to you when you're in that space?
I think when I get to the quietness of is really coming up with the blueprint. You talking about in music
Yeah, in general,
or just in life? What we doing?
Yeah, because you use it in music, but that's where you great at, because you're utilizing silence to bring out your greatness. And people run from silence, and then they just keep doing what other people are doing.
Well, I've been in jail though.
Yeah. Facts.
So that's a difference. You dig what I'm saying? Like I actually had to sit in silence and just, lights out and lights on, and you gotta go in the bed. So it's like, I think your brain. When they say the brain is the most powerful thing,
Right.
when I was in I did this like little camp. You know what I mean, for the jail, like to get out at a certain time, I had to go to this camp, right? So we had to do like push-ups, and so it was like a thing, right? So I'm doing a push-ups, it was like your body hurt, and the sergeant told me something, and it's crazy because this is like from the military, but I took it in life.
Right.
He was like, "Yo, like your brain will tell your body to do whatever.
Right.
It's
Absolutely.
not your body,
Absolutely.
it's your mind."
Yeah.
So he like, you can't do no push-up. Yo, I can't do it. So when he yelling at you, yo, hurry up and do it. Then your body push one up. So the whole time it really could have pushed one up. You just needed that push to push it up. You know what I mean? Like that. So I be when I'm in silence, yo, I feel like I be thinking of like that's where like the angles at. So where y'all say like when I master out them angles, the first couple of days, it's like, where do I go? You know what I mean? It's like if me and him is sitting, I'll just close my eyes and I'm like, yo, if me and him is sitting in a chair, what would I be saying to him?
That's meditation.
Facts.
dig what I'm saying?
It is.
Wow.
And then that's how I come up. That's how I come up with the stuff. I'm like, all right, bet. Like this will be my conversation to him.
Yeah.
Right.
There's this when my husband and I are like really creative, we feel like we're in the flow, but it also feels like a trance, like tunnel vision. When you are in that space, does it feel that way for you? Like it's like a trance, like nothing else matters. You don't hear nothing else, see nothing else. Food is not necessary.
I think that's when I guess like I would say the first week of like writing is the most important. You know what I mean? Like so I got a schedule. So it'll be like, yo, from 10 a.m. to 12 a.m.
Wow.
Yeah, I might be in there like 14 hours. That means like my like teach my body like you cannot go to sleep until like 12:01.
That's fire.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't care if you ain't right. Even if my mind is stuck from 11 to 11:55, at 11:55, I might come up with that bar.
Got you.
Yeah, straight up, right.
So I give it the time. I don't shortchange it. You know what I mean? If I don't, I don't. That's fine. But make sure I stay on that time. And so far, it hasn't failed me. Like, what I do, I take it as a job, though. You know what I mean? So how I would clock in, this is how I felt. I said, yo, so when I make more money, when I at this battle rap or music or acting that I do at my job, I'm gonna quit my job. But I'm still gonna clock in like it's my job.
Like it's my job. Facts.
I love that.
You dig what I'm saying? Like,
no
because if
doubt.
I'm giving this company 40 hours of my life,
Right.
why wouldn't I give battle rap a battle 40 hours?
Right.
40 hours to write.
Facts.
You dig what? Why
Yeah.
wouldn't I? They're paying me 13 times.
Right,
You
right.
dig what I'm saying? Like that. So I still look at. That's why I do the 10 hours a day, 10 hours a day, 10 hours a day. Okay, that's 40 hours. Okay, I got 40 hours.
Right. So in the conversation over here, you was talking about, and we already know, we follow you
Right.
very intensely, but you talked about your relationship with being signed to Flip, Flip being from Houston, and you talked about the fact that he said you are the most popping and the most humble right now.
Yeah.
And that was a big part of the decision making and y'all doing business together in this way. And the vibe I got from you just watching you, us having these interactions now, you feel very like you're a superstar. And your field, you know what time it is.
Right.
EAZY is the face of one of the biggest platforms in the world as far as the URL. And battle rap in general at this point. Shout out to Remy. You know, you expanding even beyond URL. How do you see EAZY? How do you see yourself? Do you feel like a superstar?
good
Do you see yourself as a superstar?
That is a really good question.
My old head, shout out to 3 Letterman. He always tell me to sit down. He'd be like, do you see yourself?
Right.
He always tell me that. He'd be like, yo, sit down and see like who you is.
Right.
Because there's certain things that you can't do now.
Right.
You know, all of that. Like, I went out like 2 weeks ago. I called my friend in Philly. I'm like, yo, let's go to the bar. I called my brother. I'm like, yo, I'm here coming. He like, what are you doing over there? He like, EAZY, EAZY, I'm coming to get you. I'm coming to get you. I'm coming to get you.
Right.
It's like, so it's like they people look at me more than I be looking at myself.
Right.
You dig what I'm saying? Like that. Like they be like, even now, and I was like, yo, I'm going to go to Houston to do this podcast.
Right, we said the same thing. Like, yo, he ain't got no business really coming out.
Yo,
outside of the energy.
Yeah,
that we
and everybody
felt.
was like, what are you going out there for, bro? He said, I ain't come with nobody. I'm just like, yo, I got
Right,
it.
no
But
doubt.
it's a feeling I got. And when I start ignoring that feeling is when bad things happen.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like that is always when I don't. That's why I don't second guess myself no more.
Right.
Or nothing. When I feel like something is right, I go for it. When I feel like it's right and I don't go for it, it always goes bad.
So you don't see yourself as the EAZY the world sees you as?
Yeah, no.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Really?
no, I don't. You know what I mean? Like,
So, really? So, okay, let me ask you this. When somebody says, like, you're my favorite, what does that feel like? Do you feel anything? Like,
no, I feel like, yo, I appreciate it. I work hard to do it. But I want to be bringing you. Okay, so if he would ask me, do I be nervous on stage? I don't be nervous for the actual opponent. I be nervous in the making my supporters happy.
Wow.
Like, I hope I gave y'all
Yeah.
something that you wanted because you paid your money here, paid the pay-per-view, you spent your time. I want to leave you with something after you leave.
No doubt.
You dig what I'm saying? It don't be the
Wow.
person.
Right.
I've never heard like that type of answer from someone who is at your status
Right.
to be more concerned about making sure your fans really feel like they got what they needed from you, as opposed to like, I'm not even worried about the person in front of me. They
Right.
almost don't even exist.
You know, because
That's
they're not paying
huge.
you. Y'all the ones who paying.
Right, no doubt.
You know what I mean? Like that. So at the end of the day, that person's going to be somebody else after Hitman.
Right.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean? Like that. But you decide if you want to watch the next one. So I think that, fans should always be. You'll never see me there bashing no fans ever.
Right.
I don't
Yeah,
say
for
F
sure.
them. I don't say none of that. Y'all can troll me if y'all want. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like that. I'm gonna troll back if I got to. But
Yeah.
it always be, I'll be appreciating it, because even the bad things that be said about me, you can technically revamp some of that.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
You said in one of your lyrics, loyalty will cost you, karma will remind you. Right. And just kind of getting a idea for how your energy is, how humble, of course, you are, and real and authentic you are.
Yeah.
People like you, people like us, I can relate to that. I'm the same type of person. I told my wife when I came in, we the same dude. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But with that being said, I had to figure out how to like know who to give the level of love I'm capable of giving. I had to figure out how to know who to give it to. I don't get to my wife until I learn that lesson and who to cut off and how to stop doing that. And it's something I call savior syndrome that a lot of people with good hearts and that are humble suffer from. Do you feel like you've ever suffered from savior syndrome and been at a point you gave more than you would receive?
I think I'm still doing it. I think maybe the last year is I focused on myself. You know what I mean? And I'm seeing like proper like results, because I might can see somebody and be like, maybe look at potential. And I'll be like, let me put something into that.
Right.
But it's just the potential, and I kind of been trying to teach this, like loyalty is only loyalty when it's both ways.
Right, absolutely.
Like the word loyalty only can be meant loyalty if it goes both ways. Because one way means that one person getting over on somebody, and you're not loyal to them.
Right.
You dig what I'm saying? Like,
so in that process of acknowledging, like really helping people, being there for people, even more than they reciprocate, have you had to set boundaries in doing that? Many times when people are like super loving and they want to help and they want to bring people with them, and you realize everybody can't come, even the ones that you really love, and you set those boundaries, sometimes they'll villainize you and make you out of the bad person just for doing what's best for you. Have you experienced that?
Well, that's on the come up. That happens a lot now. My circle for the most part is staying solid, because I got my right hand. I knew him 10 plus years. You know what I mean? So he's like my ear. You know what I mean? Like, even when companies is doing bad business, I'm like, I don't like it.
Right. He would say that before you even
said that. You know what I'm saying? It would be like, I don't like it.
That's a real one.
And then I'll go back.
Shout him out real quick.
You know what I mean? I shout him out every time I go, because I was in jail, and when I needed money, even if he would have $5, he'll send it. And people don't even know that right there is more than sending me like $100, because it's like that shit lasts $5.
Right.
So you get more respect for that. You know what I'm saying? Like that. So usually the circle, but I have had to change people. I have gave stuff to people because I just felt like I needed, and then they don't want to pass it back because they feel like I got it.
Right, no doubt. Because their perception of you.
A lot of people say, I think Google got me worth like 1.something million. I'm like, they lying. They lying.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like that. But I'm giving it to you.
Though.
Yes, absolutely. I'm giving it to you because that's the type of person I am. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you're not going to pay me back on time because you feel like that I already have it. So I have to cut people off. I had to cut people off like that. Just letting people come in my house and take stuff and drink or smoke or whatever for free, and then, you know what I mean, like even asking me for rides and you don't offer me no gas money. I hate that.
And you also talked about something in your audio book. Definitely check out the audio book. Shout it out one more time.
Timothy Chapter 1 audio book. It's on every major platform.
It's fire. And you had went through maybe a list of certain rules you had, and one of them you talked about know what category to put people in. That was fire how you laid it out. Can you talk about that a little bit? Yeah, because I think that so let's just, since we on relationships, you meet a girl and people want to call her like your wifey from the rip.
Right.
What? You think what I'm saying? Like, we already put her in high category that she don't deserve to be there. And that goes for anybody else, a friend. When you just meet that person, he's technically an associate first. We got to start putting them in associate categories. Now, associates, they don't get favors yet. Right. Because they haven't built that trust with you to be doing that. You dig what I'm saying? They shouldn't even technically be knowing where you stay at. You dig what I'm saying? Is even when I be in a relationship, it's certain people, my girl can't even be around my friends like that. Like men, like in the room. Like if I'm in the room, you're in her house, then that's But you know what I'm saying, like that, I don't follow none of my friends' girls on Instagram or Twitter. I don't have. There's no need for me to do that.
No doubt.
You dig what I'm saying? Absolutely. I know you're paid, so if anything happens to my man, I'll inbox you. But there's no need for me to do that, because if I'm, you mean, like, that's your property. You dig what I'm saying?
No
or
doubt.
Not property, but you know what I'm saying?
That's
your, like, that's your me. I have nothing to be doing with that. That's my sis. I think that we don't categorize people right, and then we give them more than what they supposed to have, or we give the people that we supposed to have a lot less.
I'm not mad at that at all.
Facts, because you giving so much, so the leftovers. So
it's just like, and I think we all suffer from that, and I have lost money from that. I've been stabbed in the back from that. My heart been broke from that. You know what I mean? And all of that because I treated everybody like me, like they was me, and that's the worst thing to do. Just because I'm honorable and I'm thorough, every time I meet somebody, they say start with a clean slate, and I that's partially true, but everybody gotta have some balance.
Absolutely,
you know what I'm saying, like that. You know what I mean? Because you know what I mean, you have to get to know me. Our relationship, you have to get to know you a little bit more too, to be like, okay. You know, because different situations.
right.
And then you categorizing where people are placed in your life lets you know who actually deserves to have access to you. Because everybody doesn't deserve to have access to you. Everybody doesn't deserve to share certain moments with you, to know certain things about you. So I love that. That is very important for people to know. Because some people are so loving. It's like, oh, everybody can come and everybody can't come. Everybody isn't allowed to have that much access to me. Even our last episode, we were speaking about.
Talk about that?
Yeah. So one of the things with me is like, people love to hold me accountable for like answering my phone and like texting, and to a certain degree they do hound me to respond, but I like silence and stillness. I don't like talking on my phone. It makes me overwhelmed when people text me or expect for me to call them back in a certain time frame. And so I have to be honest about the fact that everybody doesn't have that type of access to me. It's not me thinking that I'm too good to respond. It just is not a space that I want to speak to everybody in that way, and it's not personal. So when you are able to categorize who's able to have that type of access to you, it makes life a lot easier. Yeah.
And you also had the situation you spoke on, I believe that was last episode, or maybe the Breakup Bible, but you was talking about, you know, getting stopped from going to a baby shower you was getting ready to go to because it was a particular friendship that you was interested in seeing if it could be developed, but this person was asking for more of you than you were willing to give. Even though you was giving in your way, you set the boundary, you put them in their category, and they felt the way, and 2-3 months later, today, you get the apology text like, you know what, I was tripping.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And that's the thing, you know, when you try to set those healthy boundaries with people, and it's really like, if a person is coming into your life, you get to choose, you both get to choose, how do you have the capacity to show up in my life? And so my thing is, I only have the capacity to talk maybe once a month. Okay, that's probably all I got. And typically my friends are cool with that. So, but that's an agreement. You get to tell me how far you're willing to go in our relationship. If you have the capacity to even be loyal in certain situations, that's a real conversation.
No, that is.
Yeah. And so even today, finally, you know, she reached out and apologized, but because people don't honor the category that you are putting them in, the category you have the capacity to show up in yourself, then months later you have to get an apology because they don't know how to honor. You just don't like answering your phone.
And then the category that they're now in, the only response that was necessary was a hug emoji. I said everything I needed to say before.
I can't do anything else.
And that's the beautiful part of the category aspect, because a lot of times we overdo because we see the best in people. We want people to do well. We got a lot of love, right? Sometimes we feel like we're taking away love by setting a boundary or putting them in a particular category, but you actually giving them love in the way they need, because now that you absent, you're not here. They got to look at themselves. And 3 months go by and it's like, you know what? I think I was bugging. I do see a blind spot in myself that she was kind of a signal that I didn't want to hear in that moment, but now I see it. You give them love in the way they need, not what they necessarily want from you.
No instant gratification to just have instant access to you.
Facts. Let me ask you this too, because you've been through a lot of trauma, and I say that trauma isn't the severity of a painful experience, it's the duration of how long we hold on to it, unpacked, unprocessed. But the way we perceive trauma is kind of your life story. When we think about jail and street stuff and murders and all this different stuff, this is the picture of trauma we have in our head. At any point with the hand that you was playing, I won't say dealt, because to a certain degree, you needed all of that. At any point did you kind of have, I don't deserve this itis? And what I mean by that is, a lot of times the thing that keeps us from breaking through a particular phase of our life is we mad at God, we mad at the world. I shouldn't have had to go through that. I don't deserve this. Did you ever experience that at any point in your trauma?
I don't think I had time to. I think we was always going through something, or maybe trying to get out of it and all of that. Maybe the first time in jail, but that was being naive because I did it.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I'm saying? So,
Right,
so it wasn't, you don't think of that until, you think of that till after. So that was more on me. But no, the good thing about me now is like I really take accountability for everything I've done.
I was just about that. What you just said felt like straight accountability.
Absolutely.
I did it.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and that was the breakthrough. You know what I mean? Like that. Like, and I think maybe my worst issue in life right now is like a relationship.
Gotcha.
And of how to, like be in a relationship 100%.
Right.
What does that mean? What aspect of that is the trying to figure out part?
I think that I was fast. I was too fast. So it's like I don't want to be like sometimes I don't want to be alone. So when I usually go to my relationships, it be for that. So I don't have to be alone. It don't be the correct person. You know what I mean? And then now it's a cycle. Now, you know what I mean? Now we doing the same thing that the last person did because I wasn't right.
Right.
You dig what I'm saying? And then you could lead people on. I mean, that's what I did. Like, you'll lead them on that you want to become something more than what it is, but you can't really offer it because that's never what it was.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think like that's the only unstable thing in my life, like as far as right now. But anything like trauma wise, I think I fixed that with myself when I realized that a lot of the trauma from not kids, because I came from my mom and all of that. I was just living what I could.
Right.
But as an adult, a lot of things that I did, I kind of put myself in that situation.
No doubt.
You know what I mean?
No doubt.
Like that, like, and that's the lesson in that. To like, I could teach you how to get out of that though. But
with the relationship thing, like in the position you hold in the world you in, how difficult is it to maintain a relationship?
Well, now, kind of like I'm starting over from scratch now because I am who I am now. So now I'm nervous.
Yeah.
What you mean?
Because I don't know who would like me just because of me.
Got you. Okay.
How long does it take for you to actually feel into if the connection is genuine on their end, or if it is produced based on who you are?
Well, it's new to me now because it's like I've only been in stardom for like 3 years.
Right.
You dig what I'm saying? I was in a relationship. Now I'm out of it. So now it's more focused on me. So I wouldn't know right now.
Got you.
I wouldn't know. I know that, how could I say this? I know that I got more people's attention.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like my inboxes be going up. You know what I mean? So I know people want to be meeting me, but you wasn't there before the TV show dropped.
Right. Okay.
You mean?
And
You wasn't there before I was. You dig what I mean? So
Yeah.
I know what that could be.
Right.
That could just be because he's easy. So it's just like I don't know yet.
And before that, your previous, and I'll come to you next, Candace. Your previous relationship, public in the battle rap arena, but you didn't have to deal with that because you was with somebody, and then that ends, and now it's like, all right, they really coming at me. I'm in a space where I could deal, but I don't trust.
Don't trust, and plus I gotta get 100% over that.
Got you. Okay.
Got you.
You know what I mean? Like that, like, cause I still, we read too. Like I said, I was in jail reading probably mad self-help books because I wanted to self-educate myself of how to live a better life, how to build my credit, how to live, like how to don't go, because statistically speaking, we like 40% will go right back in within like 3 years.
Facts.
So how do we get out of that? You know what I mean? And once I found out how to get out of that, what I should have did was just focus on me, period.
So that's what you're doing now?
100%. That's what I should have did. Never try to bring nobody along for the ride because now you got to worry about you and them.
Right.
Yeah.
So what I should have just I would have even got to where I was at even sooner. But you know what I mean? But that's still a lesson that I learned because I needed stuff in there for me to be me now. You know what I mean? Like that.
So now that you are, because what you said was the aspect of wanting to be with someone or have someone, not necessarily wanting to be with them, but just wanting to not be alone in that space.
Right.
Now that you're aware of that, do you feel when that sensation is coming up that's kind of like urging you to send a text or urging you to entertain someone? Do you are you able to decipher when it's just that part of you that feels lonely as opposed to really liking that person?
I'm almost like 80% like with that. Like, I know what you're saying. I'm more now of just, I'm honest, 100% honest.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like, you know, sometimes it can backfire. Because we on a relationship show too, right?
Yeah.
Girl,
Let's get it.
females be lying about that they want the truth.
Facts.
That's facts.
100% of the
Yeah,
truth.
that's
That has never worked for me.
Right, no doubt.
You know what I mean? Like, to be that, but I try to be like, listen, categories. I try to be like, I don't want nothing serious.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's do that. If something happens from there, then
Right.
it can happen. But I try to let everybody know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Be like, yo, and then certain girls that I talk to be like, yo, I'm not over my ex technically yet.
Gotcha.
So until I get 100% over her, like, we can't have nothing. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like that. And I let them know. And that helps.
It does.
You know what I mean? But sometimes it's like, yo, if you really like her, just tell me. Then I need to know. And you be like, all right, yeah, I really like her. And be like, what? And then it be like, no, that's the setup. I be like, no. You know what I mean? So, you know, being too honest, you know what I mean, is such a is a thing too, though.
Yeah, and that's interesting you said that, because when my husband and I first met, that was like one of our first conversations. I don't want to be in a relationship. We were very clear
Facts.
about, we were good being single, not looking for a relationship at all. And whatever it progressed to be, it progressed to be. So I never badgered him about, like, what are we? What are your intentions? What's your 5-year plan? None of those things, because it wasn't necessary. We just got to feel through where we were in that moment, and it naturally evolved into what it was. Yeah.
How do you work on, you said you're still dealing with some heartbreak and getting over your ex. How do you work on it?
I mean, I think I'm over it now.
Okay.
But it was, okay, so I have a thing of that if I'm in a relationship with somebody, I want everybody to be successful. But I do feel like I know the goal to be successful.
Right.
Like, so it'd be like, okay, if I'm doing it and I'll let you do it and,
Right.
and it don't show no results, I'm going to take over it.
Got you.
You dig what I mean?
Gotcha.
Like that, you know. So it was, you know. Sometimes I am like, yo, I'll be wanting to control. I want to control stuff. You
Right.
dig what I mean? Like
Right.
that, but in a way that's just like,
That's
yo,
gonna be helpful to you.
I feel like it's helpful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that. It could be over. I could be overbearing. You know what I mean? Like, but it's still in a successful way though. Because as long as we get to that goal, I'm just trying to be getting you to that goal. You know what I mean? Like I feel like that we should be equal in this household.
Got you.
I'm not one of them dudes that be like, yo, my girl can't make more money than me.
Right.
I'm not one of them.
Right, for
You
sure.
know what I mean?
Right.
Go ahead, make all the money.
Right.
You dig what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like that. And if I can help you get there,
Yeah.
it helps me out.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that. Like, so I always was that. I'm not a 50-50 person, but I'm a, you know what I mean? The man and the female is equal in the household and you holding me down, I'll pay for everything.
Right. Right.
But I just want to make sure that if I don't have it, I know you got it.
Yeah, no doubt.
And I know we got it still.
Yeah.
So it's just like that.
Let me ask you this too, man to man, being in the position that you in. Are you to a point yet? You said you're 34. You very mature. Not even just for your age, just as a soul. I feel like you got an old soul to a large
I
degree.
say
Yeah.
that.
Are you at a point, and I feel like, I'm not going to say all men, I'm not even going to say a lot of men, but some men get to the point where they feel like sex ain't enough, or physical attraction to a woman is not enough to share that energy with them. Are you at that point? Do you need something more? Do you need intangibles, or, you know? If it's just one of them nights and niggas just come through?
But you know what? Yeah.
Okay.
Because you have to. We no longer kids no more.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
you have to match me, not style wise, just life wise.
Got you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's because if we're on two different frequencies, we can never work.
Right.
You know what I mean? So the sex is like, it's a big part of it, but it has to be the last thing.
Got you.
Because
Yeah.
I'm with like, yo, can I live with you?
Right.
This is the thing. I want to be able to go on a date with you, go kart ride with you, go to the movies,
Watch battle rap.
battle rap. If we can be, can I be around you?
Facts, bro.
Because there's certain people that I have dated that I didn't even like them
Yeah,
after that.
right.
It was just,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like that.
Yeah.
So that, like, the vibe has to be there. Then, you know, I got kids, they older, but like, like, do the kids like you?
Right. No doubt.
Do you got
huge.
kids?
That's huge.
Do your kids like
Can
me?
we vibe? Yeah, can our kids vibe?
You got baby
Yeah.
dad for problems. I got, you know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
that, like all, like now it's so many things to go around. Sex is just, it's sex though. Now, especially in 2023.
Right.
You can get that on Twitter.
Facts. No doubt.
Straight up. So when it comes to the relationship aspect, what is the one thing that you have always wanted to experience in a relationship that you've never been privy to experience before?
question.
Spoiledness. Like I just want a girl to spoil me.
Spoil you. Yeah, no doubt.
What does that look like?
I think that, you know.
That's a great answer.
Yeah, no,
bro.
that
It
is, you know what? I think that we at a time that just girls feel like they supposed to get spoiled.
Right.
Like all the time. Like men are still human too. We
Right.
got emotion.
Right.
Like we get, you know what I mean? Like I'm like, yo, I want to come in the house and see a bag, you know what I'm saying? Like, you dig what I'm saying? Like a watch in there. Here you go, babe. I know you've been taking care of your man just because it's Tuesday.
Yeah.
Because
No doubt.
I'll do that to you.
No doubt.
Yeah.
I'll go to the store, see something that you like, and I'll just buy it.
Right.
But it's not common for women to do that.
Right.
Not all women, but
Yeah.
it's not common
No,
for
you're
women
right.
to do that to their man. And it's just like, I'm so used to being a provider. Like, I do this, I take this, I take care of this. It's like, I never had nobody that's like, you know what?
Take care of you.
Take care of me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that. So that's like, I would like that. Not saying it's, you know, that's what can happen. I hope it
Right.
can happen.
Nah, I
You know
can.
what I'm saying?
I
Like,
thought the
but-
same thing. I felt the same
Right.
thing until she came into my life, and I got that every day. Like, yeah.
One of the things, my husband hosts an event called Blindfolded Speed Meeting, and it's basically for men and women to meet one another, but it's sensory deprivation. So they're blindfolded, and it gives you the opportunity to actually connect with someone on a soul level, not by vision. And so after that, we typically have like a round table real talk where everyone gets to speak about relationships or just anything. So I asked the question to the women, how do you hold space for your men to show up in the relationship? Because a lot of the men said that they didn't feel safe to express how they felt without it being taken the wrong way or thrown back in their face.
Facts.
They didn't feel like they had a woman who wanted to take care of them or nurture them. And so I asked women, how do you make sure that your man feels how he needs to feel in the relationship? And it was crickets. And almost offended
Yeah.
that I asked the
Yeah.
question,
I
to
still
be
got the
honest.
footage.
Yeah. I mean, it was like cold. I'm like, dang, okay. So now I realize, even with my platform, that it's imperative that women realize that it's not just about you.
Yeah.
And that men have people that are advocating for them to have safe spaces to come into in their relationship. I was speaking to someone not too long ago, and she was like, yeah, I saw the video of, you know, you and your husband on Instagram and how he holds space for you. And I told my husband that if he can't do that, then we can't be together anymore. And so I started asking her more questions. And she was like, yeah, when, you know, he tries to tell me certain things and, you know, he says I'm too controlling. And I said, well, hold on, because he's asking you for what he needs. He wants to speak to you without you trying to control the outcome, without you telling him what to do. He just wants to share. So you are requiring him to do something for you, but you aren't doing what he needs you to do for him.
Right.
And I feel like that's a huge
Facts.
aspect of what women are just so blinded to it, because everything in society says take care of the woman.
Right.
Nothing in society says also make sure your man is equally
Right.
taken care of the same way.
Right, and when a woman flexes in that capacity, if a man is giving 100%, if you give 10% of the spoiling, we want to do 150. So it's still going to benefit
that's
you at the
real.
end of the
No,
day.
that's true.
When we feel like it's not a transactional situation, then we want to run through a brick wall for you. So it's still going to come back to you anyway.
Absolutely. No, you said that perfectly.
Yeah, no doubt. I think I got one more question for you. Biggest battle rapper in the culture right now, period. You got the huge battle coming up with Hitman next week, right?
Yeah, next Saturday.
Next Saturday. Shout that out, February 25th.
Your Chrome 23, the anniversary card, Remy Ma, she presenting that. Make sure to shout out to her. February 25th on Sony Hall, New York City. EAZY the Block Captain versus Hitman Holla.
Right.
That is one of the, probably the biggest. What you think? You think Mook and Lux? I mean, Lux and Light. Lux and Daylight.
We
It's
talking
up there.
top 5 to 10 most important battles of all time.
Absolutely.
Period.
So this is definitely a big battle.
Right.
Definitely this year, and so grab your pay-per-view links,
Right.
and I think tickets is almost sold out. But yeah, man, make sure y'all tune in for this one. This is gonna be one of the ones.
And if you're not into battle rap, you may just think it's something we just talking about now. Battle rap is a huge culture.
Absolutely.
Everybody watches battle rap. Athletes,
Absolutely.
actors. He doesn't end up on Bel-Air. He's one of the feature actors on Bel-Air. You want to talk about that real quick too?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Bel-Air. They about to drop season 2 on Thursday. I'm on season 1 though. Go see that Peacock Network. You know what I mean? Do that. I'm dead, but I might not be dead, so I might be back. You know what I'm saying? Might be back, but I do have, shout out to that opportunity. That was a great opportunity. I do have another TV show called On 10 that's coming out in about 2 months, and I got a movie that just called me for that. The premiere is going to be on the 16th of March.
Right.
That's called Outside. That's gonna be on Tubi.
Right.
So I'm about to be a Tubi actor.
No doubt.
No, that's right.
right. So with that being said, if y'all don't know, my brother is lit up here. And that brings up something because, I spent a lot of time in music. I was signed to the Heatmakers. Okay. Did my thing in my time. I'm still an artist, but not as active as I used to be. God took me a different direction. And a lot of the things I thought I would have had to have a deal to experience, how people, quote unquote, may look up to me in certain ways in the spiritual community, the platforms I'm able to touch, I'm lit on this side. And it's crazy because we have this idea of, all right, when I get to a certain point of success, being able to do this is going to be so dope. It's going to be life-changing. That's going to be it. We have this idea of it. But then you get to it, you do it, it's beautiful, it's lit, but then life goes on. And then you go back and you got to take care of the kids the next day and wash the dishes. So it's something I've kind of coined as happiness amnesia, because we hold on to these traumatic thoughts with everything we got, and it's hard to let go of the memory of it. But when we have a beautiful, a successful, a happy moment, it's very hard to remember that when you kind of need to just have balance of, my life is lit. Do you experience happiness amnesia? How do these moments, because it took you a while to get to this point where you EAZY the block captain, how do these moments feel to you now that you're experiencing them?
And I think maybe I should get a little bit better with that, what you're saying, but I still haven't really experienced it yet because I feel like I ain't get there where I want to be at. So I haven't really sat back and be like, okay, you EAZY the block captain, because I just felt like I lost so much time. You know what I mean? Like, and I might be like, all right, if I started in 2013, I could have been here. So I'm more there. So it's like I need to catch up more. So that's why I take stuff a little bit more serious than most people, because I still haven't felt like it's there. You know what I mean? I done purchased a house off of this, and that was a good moment. But I be feeling like, all right, I need more.
Do you celebrate yourself?
Yeah.
Not really.
So like after you have a crazy battle, you 12-0 right now.
Just that
bro.
night.
Like,
that night we'll toast, and then I'll be right. I'm like, all right, it's time to work.
Well, even when y'all toast, like, do you feel that is like the celebration of you?
I think my people be happy, more happy than me.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like they'll be like, yo, to watch you do this, is a happy time for them.
So go ahead.
What do you think it would take for you to like feel it, like to sit in, like, damn, like, I'm here.
Maybe I get, all right, so probably the closest thing is like when my daughter called me when she seen me on TV.
Okay.
And she was happy. So I was happy. You think what I'm saying? Like, got it. You think what I'm saying? Like that. So yeah, I think I like that one.
And the thing I was going to say to that actually does connect to the desire for wanting to be spoiled. Because part of the message that you send into God, universe, Allah, right? You Muslim, right? Part of the message that you send into Allah, if I'm not willing or prioritizing, celebrating myself, really sitting in my wins and understanding what I'm doing for me, then part of that message is going out to the universe, and there will be certain levels of love that you can't get externally.
Right.
Because you blocking a certain level of love to yourself. And I feel like a lot of men, I have men's retreats, did men's meetings for a few years. I'm working on doing them out here now. But a lot of men have that same experience and that same perspective that it's just a matter of getting it done. We don't really got time to celebrate. It's not that important to celebrate. Celebrating yourself, she taught me how to start doing that. And that has opened up new dimensions, new portals of resources, even me making it to her to establish this marriage. I don't do that until I learn how to really start celebrating even the little stuff. So that may be something you want to look into.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
no
because when it came to celebrating him, you know, he had a whole community that he was leading, guiding, and helping, the same as you. And so I held a whole ceremony and basically taught them,
forced us.
This is how you celebrate someone of this magnitude. And so even if I gotta put it under your comments, y'all better start celebrating this man, just as a reminder to you, like, you deserve those flowers. You deserve to be acknowledged, seen, heard, and really supported. And you deserve to feel all that comes from that, because what you are doing is so great. It's so honorable. The integrity that you have is something that is refreshing to see, especially in the energy that comes with battle rap. But for you to be who you are in that space is beautiful. And so you deserve to feel all of the love that comes from that.
Absolutely. Just real quick, the ceremony she's talking about, I was turning 40. And
How old is you?
I'm 41.
You don't look like
Meditation, all that good stuff, right? But I was turning 40, and like she said, you know, I've been a pillar in my community in Newark and all of that. So Baba is like a spiritual term for a spiritual father.
I learned that from Black Panther.
Exactly.
Absolutely,
Exactly. And one of the people I studied under.
That's why I started doing these.
Fire,
I love that though. Yeah,
That's why I started doing these.
Yeah, part of who one of the people I studied under, we called him Baba as well. So she felt like she was helping to initiate me into my Babahood officially. And we do these events in Jersey called Peace in the Park. Hundreds of people come out, meditation, yoga, food, kids, everybody. Super lit out there. And at the end of the event, she brought out a bucket with some flowers. And, bro, she literally took my socks off and just washed my feet. And had everybody, like, take turns to speak life into me and throw flowers into the bucket. And at a certain point, I felt the version of me that wasn't comfortable with that type of love dying in that moment. But until you are able to do the necessary work to even get to that moment, so when it comes, you're ready to be able to embrace it. She doesn't even show up in my life first and foremost, but that moment doesn't happen in a way where I could really appreciate it and accept that level of love. We'd be super gung-ho on putting it out when it comes time for us to like really receive it.
Yeah.
We haven't prepared our system to be able to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, I just wanted to throw that in there. So,
fire.
Yeah. So I think let me see. Is there one more question?
Oh, I have one more question.
Oh, go ahead.
And this is in reference to some of our conversation coming over here.
Okay.
We never know who this conversation is going to reach. So you talked a little bit about your ideas for having your program to affect juveniles. Talk about that.
Okay, so the whole lesson in every bar thing, we're trying to bring it to life. So when I was in juvenile facilities, I think that was the time where like I seen like it's me times 1,000 people in here. We 15, 14, 15. But when you in there, it was like you don't have like, if you don't got life, you don't got long. So you know you coming home. Right. We know after 18 you gonna go home, and then after 18 you start your journey over. 9 out of 10 of the times is we're faking it to make it in there so we could get home. But once we get home, it's the same shit, same stuff. Same stuff.
Nah, you good.
So then we continue the same path that we did there. So I was thinking, like, okay, what I learned now, if I would have had that at 18, I probably wouldn't even have went this way, as far as, you know, but with the same language that I'm giving it to you. If I was to talk to you like this, like, young boy, tighten up, stuff like that, because they don't want to hear it in big words. They want to hear it in how they want to hear it in. So it's a couple things I want to, you know, do. I want to, you know, talk about the actual hood. Like, we need to actually, my thing is like talk about selling drugs, but I know why you did it.
Right.
You relating to
Absolutely.
I'm not bashing you for doing it, because I did it and I was in that situation. But let me tell you what that lane is about to lead to.
Right.
And if you want to get out of that, you should do this, and you should do that, and you should do that. And I think that they will start accepting that more,
Right.
because it's coming from somebody that know what they doing,
That's
and it's not
facts.
talking down on them.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just like, you mean, here's how you build your credit. Yo, you mean categories where we putting people at, you know what I mean? Because we need to know that
Absolutely.
at 15.
Absolutely.
Because we're doing that there.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that. So it's
Right.
like, if they can come out 18 fresh start, like, yo, I did that, and I just want to help one person, help the same person I was, learn it. Instead of learning at 27, learning at 18.
Be the person you needed when
You know
you
what I
were
mean?
younger.
Like that. And I
Yeah.
think I can help with that. If that's a purpose I have, you know, besides myself of being
That's
great in
beautiful.
battle rap,
Absolutely.
like, I mean, help other people.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I'm excited for that.
Yeah,
And
it's-
you already
it's
know
working.
you have our support in whatever way we can show up in that space.
Thank you. Yeah,
And when we have black men in the position of power that you find yourself to be in today, we got to support that. We come at our artists a lot of times for not kicking knowledge, for not giving the lessons in every bar and that type of stuff. So when you got somebody that's doing that, if y'all never heard of EAZY the Block Captain before, go on it. What's your Instagram?
EAZY Block Cat everywhere. EAZY-BLOCKCAPT, and that's across the board everywhere. EAZY the Block Captain on YouTube.
Right.
And just I was the only one EAZY the Block
Yeah,
Captain. in the
no
world.
doubt.
Facts.
So yeah,
So
make-
yeah, I mean,
make-
so was me. Yeah.
Make sure y'all do your due diligence, do your research, put the audio book on, especially if y'all got young men, y'all in the car.
Yeah.
Turn a little Yachty or whoever it is, no disrespect, put on the audio book. My man
Right.
talking and dropping knowledge. So let's support these brothers when we got them in this type of position to actually be able to affect change.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to say before we close?
Yes,
out?
actually, one thing, I appreciate y'all for having me here.
Love it.
Right? I think I was supposed to be here.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah.
You understand?
Absolutely.
Because like I'm building, I'm doing a lot of work, and then just for this battle, I don't usually get nervous, but
Right.
I was like a little uneasy
Got
to
you.
come to this battle, right? When I think like this, you mean
Wow.
help me, like I needed this,
Right.
You dig what I'm saying,
Right.
like that, because it's so chaotic.
Yeah, no doubt.
Promotion and all of that, you know what I mean? So now I'm just, sitting
vibing,
like,
yeah.
what, learned a few things. So
No
there's a
doubt.
few things that y'all said. I'm just like, okay,
Right.
you dig what I mean?
Right.
Like, so I'm supposed to be sitting into this space, and it's just
Yeah.
it's just a beautiful thing, because now I feel like I know what's about to happen now.
Yeah.
You understand?
Appreciate that, bro.
Like that. So I appreciate y'all for having me. Absolutely.
About to be a heavy 3-0 now.
Yeah.
It was already going to be a
Oh,
3-0.
man,
It's about to
straight
be a
up.
heavy 3-0.
All right, y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in.
Facts.
We cannot wait. I can't wait to upload this.
Right.
Um,
Monday,
and
right?
Yeah,
Yes.
Monday.
And
Really,
the battle is
I'm-
Saturday, so we got a
Okay.
week to help promote for the
Absolutely.
battle.
Yes, absolutely.
I'll send y'all like the link. The
Okay.
Perfect.
pay-per-view link.
Oh, yeah. Gutter
Oh
City.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
Merch.
www.guttercity.com. I am revamping. I know people been telling me to get an assistant, because I am doing this on my own. I'm doing this on my own, you know what I mean? But it's like nobody knows your vision the way you
Right.
know your
True,
vision.
yeah.
So before I, try to help other people, I need to make sure my vision is 100% complete. But I do have the website, www.guttercity.com. That's going to be in the revamp. Please, go get that support and all of that, everything that got going on.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
perfumes, cologne.
Yeah, I got perfume and
Yeah.
cologne, and I got music that's unreleased on
Right.
there too. That's not on iTunes and
Oh,
nothing
nice.
that you can just you could go there. And it's a lot of other things that I have coming, but
Right.
you know what I mean. It's like after this battle is up.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you're somebody that functions in the world of being an assistant or management in some way, shape,
Absolutely.
or form, we trying to build global community. So if the energy is right, reach out to this brother. You never know, you could be the person to help him on this path.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Appreciate you being here,
No,
beloved.
thank you.
Yes.
sir.
Absolutely.
Yay, I'm so
Appreciate it.
excited. All right, y'all. We will see y'all on the next episode.
Peace.